Welcome to our session. In current circumstances, it's the only way we can get education. I am definitely missing doing these trainings in person and seeing some participants joining us from San Francisco. Totally jealous of your weather and definitely miss being on the West Coast. So hopefully one day we can do it in person, but we still have a benefit to do it online. In overview, we would look at some common inspection findings, which would allow us to understand the gaps in terms of quality. We will compare and contrast conventional clinical trials monitoring practices versus risk-based monitoring. We'll discuss building quality by design and quality management systems into clinical site operations, as well as factors influencing study quality and integrity, risk assessments, detection and management of these risks, and how actually to build risk-based quality management. As we look at common findings for the clinical investigator sites, we can see that in the U.S., 701 inspections were conducted in the fiscal year of 2019, and the main findings are listed on this slide, referring to failure to follow investigational plan, agreement, or regulations, or both of them. Protocol deviations were noted, inadequate record keeping, inadequate subject protection. Those are aspects involving informed consent issues and failure to report serious adverse events. Inadequate accountability of investigational product, inadequate communications with IRB, and investigational product represented as safe and efficacious, which is prohibited under current regulations if the product is still being tested. On international scale, in which FDA also has ability to do inspections, there were 174 inspections conducted internationally. Protocol deviations, inadequate subject protection, and inadequate accountability of investigational product were also noted. As you look at it, you can say that these are pretty obvious things which should be a focus of investigators at the site level, as well as sponsors and representatives of the sponsors, because those are such a main issues that you would imagine that would be caught during monitoring visits. But because there is a serious gap in quality assurance, so those issues have occurred. And obviously, there are further things that inspections would be focusing, as well as these issues would be followed upon. And of course, main issues, of course, regarding adherence to the protocol, ensuring subject protection, because this is an obligation of federal regulators to make sure that public is protected throughout clinical trials. The other areas of focus would be IRB reporting, how those deviations and serious adverse events are communicated, especially in ongoing pandemic and post-pandemic. All of us are thinking about what was not done as the studies were conducted. Where are the gaps for the data? What's happening with our data integrity, and have we missed or reported late any serious adverse events? So now more than ever, we actually rely on remote monitoring, and in a few minutes we'll talk about benefits of the remote and risk-based monitoring, which are not the same things, and we'll look into those approaches and what we need to build within our quality assurance systems to achieve adequate monitoring. Also, disclosure and proper documentation of adverse events is very important. The timeline of reporting when sites came to knowledge regarding this adverse event, what actions they took, and how it was documented, as well as who was involved, because actually it is the responsibility of investigator to make judgment call on attribution criteria for the SAE reporting, not just for coordinator to enter it in the database. For in clinical trials and sites, because there is variability in the standards and requirements and conflict of interest.